All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is. It is time to be unboxed. And today we are talking about forgiveness. Not just forgiveness, but deep forgiveness. So you are going to really love the guest that I have today. But you know what we have first? We always have story time. So herein lies my story. So I was working for the government and I had a supervisor who gave me the business, right? And it was so crazy that this lady was pretty much out for me. I'm going to say this. I want to say that she was pretty much out for me, but I realize sometimes when people are going through their own internal struggles, it is not about you. And I want to say that. So I was working for the federal government, and I know at the time that I was with child, about six of us, maybe about six of us was with child at the same time. So we put all our leave slips in and everything for us to go on maternity leave. And some of us got approved, and I was one of the ones that was not. Well, I wasn't in the in crowd. I wasn't, one of the favorites or whatever. So I didn't get it. But in the government, you could do what was called donate leave. So, because of the personality that I have, so many people had donated me leave in order for me to be able to stay off for maternity leave, especially since my daughter was having some medical challenges, right? So, I finally came back to work, but I noticed that my paychecks was lots of short. And I went to her and I'm just like, hey, I noticed that my paycheck is short. I had more than enough leave to have full pay coming back. And she was like, absolutely, you did not. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And she's like, you did not have it. So long story short, I went to all of my copies that I had made of all the people who donated things for me, the time and the leave, and I had more than enough time. So I took them to her, and she was like, "Nope, not so." So in the government, we had something like the EAP. We could do the gripe, the union. So I went down to the union and took them all of my papers, and lo and behold, after they did the investigation, I had more than enough leave. And when I tell you that this lady had actually finally said that she threw the papers away. I'm like, oh my goodness, how spiteful could you be to throw my leave away? But she, like I said, she gave me the business. She would uh, not take, not accept my leave. She would dock me for stuff. She would write me up for stuff. I mean, literally, just gave me the business. And y'all know that I'm transparent, right? So I'm gonna make it real, like, because I'm from Baltimore and I got issues. But I've been overcoming a whole lot of them. But back then, they was real deep. And I was like, if I see her in the bathroom, I promise I'm gonna beat her like she stole something. And I'm gonna say she fell. Now, that's real talk. I'm just gonna be real with you, right? Because I was so angry with this woman because she was making my life miserable. And she didn't know all the stuff that I was going through. I had just gave birth to a child that was ill. I had a husband that was cheating. I had bills and foreclosures and it was just a lot. And I was so angry with this woman that I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do something to her. Like, it was so much anger that it was physically affecting me. And I dealt with that. And I sat there, first and foremost, being a woman who professes to follow the teachings of Christ. How dare I not forgive someone? But I sat back for a minute and I thought about the things that she was doing to me. And I was like, there's got to be a deeper reason. It's got to be a reason that this woman is this way. And I noticed that it wasn't just towards me, it was towards a lot of people. So what happened was, look at God, I got promoted over top of her, right? And they was at the time you had to actually reapply for your position. And we had to do what was called a 45. Well, she didn't know how to do a 45. But because I had forgiven her and I started seeing her as an individual, I took away the fact that she was my manager. I looked at she was a woman. I took into consideration she may have some challenges going on with herself. And because I forgave her, I helped her and I did her 45 for her. That lady was able to save her job. But you know what was bigger? I was able to save a relationship because of forgiveness. That part, say that. Now, my story, I just told you, but let's hear the story of Mr. Darryl Green. A little bit about Darryl. He is the president and principal and consultant of Deep Forgiveness. He's an advocate for the restoration of families, economic empowerment for disenfranchised, staunch proponents for what is it, liberation? Darryl, why do you use big words? You got two masters. I don't have a two masters. I be trying to tell people, don't be putting all that big stuff in your bio. So, but he is for reconciliation and forgiveness. He is an innovator and a change agent on mental health, healing, social welfare, and social justice. Darryl has two masters, one in criminal justice with a special interest in crime and delinquency. And then he has a master's in social work from the Coppin State University. I had to say that because I graduated from Coppin too. Yay, Darryl. And Darryl is a loving husband and a loving father. And I would like to say an involved father, because I want to make note that our melanated men are present and they are there for their children. He uses his powerful message of reconciliation and forgiveness to change lives. Herein lies my Baltimore brother from another mother, Mr. Darryl Green.
What's going on, family? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Hello, Darryl.
Renee, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity just to come in and to be a blessing for your show and blessing for all the folks under our listening ear tonight. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying yes. Okay. I love it. You know what's the good part, Darryl? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. this the radio. So
yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yes. So Darryl, tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, let's see. I am again. Thank you, and thank you for all the folks who tuned in tonight to listen to the show. I'm honored and blessed to be a part. As I said before, I am Darryl Green. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. Make a little correction too. I got my first master's from Coppin State University.
You got the first one. Oh yeah, that's right. You did
criminal justice,
the next
right?
One, Morgan State.
And then I went to the illustrious national treasure, Morgan State University School of Social Work. And,
okay,
yeah, and God is so amazing that hopefully this time in the next few months I'll be Dr. Green, as I am a PhD candidate in the School of Social Work. So. But yeah, so just a little bit about me, Renee. Again, thank you. I am from Baltimore, Park Heights and Wally, 21215 zip code.
That's me, Park Heights, Oswego. I love it.
That's right. Came out of Sumter Avenue, DuPont, but came out of Cardinal Gibbons and went to school in Carolina.
Okay.
Again, my goal was to go to work for the FBI. But my junior year, y'all, a tragedy happened to my family. Mm-hmm. My younger brother, Reuben Cotton, he went bowling, y'all. He checked his shoes. He used their shoes. A 14-year-old kid went behind the counter, took his shoe in the bowling alley. Altercation broke out, Renee, as you know. And my brother guffed him up in the bowling alley. Management threw the other young man out. Kim Yarn threw him out. And that young man went home and let my brother go back to bowl. That young man, 14 years old at the time, went home and armed himself. And then he waited for my brother to leave, and as my brother went to leave, he stabbed him, and he lost his life 4 days later. Shock trauma. As you know, hurt people, and I was hurting. My whole family was hurting. I was a junior in college, again getting ready to go to work for the FBI, and got a call that my brother had been stabbed, and they didn't know he was going to be able to make it. And Renee, you from Baltimore, shock trauma, they can't save you down. Shock trauma is it's a problem. So,
absolutely.
God called him home, but I wanted his family. I was angry, y'all. I was angry for a long time, but I wanted his family to feel the same pain, the same hurt that we felt. Mm-hmm. But that sentence, I wanted to kill him, his mother, his father, his sisters, his brother, the dog, the goldfish, the cat. Mm-hmm. Hell, I wanted to kill them all, but God is so amazing that didn't happen. But he got sentenced to life in prison. And at 14 years old, yes, he was sentenced as an adult. he got sentenced to life. And Maryland, life means your natural life. That means you're not getting
Absolutely.
out. And as he after he served 25 years, I was angry, y'all, for 2 decades, Renee. And then I asked God one day to take the anger off of me and give me something else. But that 2 decades, I was working on me. I was working on my own healing,
Mm-hmm.
and working on my own healing. And I just said, God, take this anger off and give me something else. I didn't know what he was going to give me, but he gave me forgiveness.
Oh, whoa,
Um,
say that. Wait a minute, Darryl.
yeah,
That's a say
yeah,
that thing.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because I just you said you asked him to give you something else. Then that right there is a impactful word. I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Mm,
sometimes when we ask God for something else, right,
mm-hmm,
he has to check our heart and our destiny and our purpose.
mm-hmm,
And sometimes when we think that something else could be, take somebody from his family, God, you got the power to do it, hurt
mm-hmm,
somebody from them or let him
mm-hmm,
get hurt in jail. But he knew your heart. And so when
mm-hmm.
he changed that or replaced it with something else, he gave you a bigger purpose. That's
Yes,
where we got
yes.
to this deep forgiveness. Go ahead, there.
That's it. And and again, when I just said, God, take this anger off me and give me something, I didn't know what he was going to get for me. I didn't pray like supplication. I didn't ask exactly what I wanted for. I just said, take this anger off of me. And far so often we get stuck. I mean, the folks in our listening audience, we get stuck, and we think it's okay to stay there. But when he took it off of me and gave me forgiveness, I was free. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I was free. And for folks that's under the sound of my listening voices, forgiveness, and I may be jumping ahead a little bit, Renee, but forgiveness is not for the other person.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Forgiveness is for you,
mm-hmm.
right? He don't deserve it. She don't deserve it. I'm like, but don't you deserve it?
How about that?
Don't you
How about that?
deserve it? Because we give everybody else grace. And
Absolutely. That's
you
it.
know,
Mm-hmm.
we give everybody else grace. Because one of the hardest things to do is self-forgiveness, right?
Mhm. Well, wait a minute. I want to go back here
Yeah.
for a second because
Hmm.
it's like you said, a lot of people who listen to the show, and one of the things I love about the show is that even though there is a biblical principle, even though there is, because hey, I'm never going to shake what I know and who saved me and gave me this platform,
Hmm.
but everybody who listening may not be one who is a follower of God or anything like that. So I do want to ask that question. Do you think or believe that forgiveness is only a spiritual thing?
Now, well, listen. Forgiveness can come in all kinds of shapes and forms,
Mhm,
whatever. And let me
mhm,
just say, in the spirit of diversity, and thank you, in the spirit of diversity, right? We have a lot of folks who believe a lot of different things that's listening
mhm.
to us, right? In the spirit of diversity, um, um, look, worship whoever you want to worship. If you worship a rock, I'm a rock with you, right? And so, but
I
I
love
just
it.
know who I just know who woke me up this morning, and
Absolutely.
I can't deny my God, but that's not gonna help. That's not gonna stop the conversation because you believe one
Absolutely.
thing, I believe something else. So in the spirit of diversity, whatever how far you believe in your God is awesome too. But
And no, I'm
I think
saying that because I just want to make it known that
yes,
forgiveness is actually universal. That
yes,
it is
yes,
not even a biblical or religious principle
yeah,
because it is for the whole growth and production and healing and wholeness of self.
yes,
So I just
yes,
kind of wanted to put that out there because,
yes.
again, we hear when we talk about church and we talk about
Hmm.
religion, we go, yeah, because they gotta forgive and they talking about that forgive and and it's like, nope, nope, nope. I just wanted to throw that out the window
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that we knew
and
that it was universal.
yeah, it's universal, and we talk about church and stuff like that. Mosques and things. We hey, look, some folks say it's no hurt like church hurt.
Come on.
Some folks will say it's no hurt like mosque. The
Mhm.
mosque, but so hurt again, it's universal, and forgiveness is universal. And you would have to believe one thing or another to exercise that peace. One, to be able to take your power back, because really this
Ooh,
is all what it is.
that's what it is, Daryl. That's
Because
what it
when
is.
because Renee, until you take your power back, that person, that situation, it owns you, right?
Absolutely.
It owns you. And so all I'm saying, it don't have to be wrapped up in any higher power or spirit. It's a choice.
Oh, wait, because now you're going. I was going to say what made you decide to forgive. But before I ask that question, I wanted to ask this though.
Yes.
Because you made that decision, and I do want to know why you decided. But before answering that, was forgiveness something that was modeled in your environment coming up? Was that something that
No,
you saw? Okay.
no. I mean, and I'll tell you, a lot of my friends, when my younger brother was killed, was like, all right, how we gonna handle this? Who we gonna get? We came up in a revenge and retaliation,
Mhm.
right? That's what we were
Listen, on
taught.
them same streets, I get it, Darryl.
Look,
Absolutely. It was an eye for
revenge.
eye, tooth for a tooth. If you ain't know
Come
scripture,
on,
you knew that one.
Hannibal principles. Hannibal, an eye for an eye, a tooth
Mhm.
for a tooth. And so we didn't come, I did not come from that piece,
Mhm.
do no harm and that sort of stuff, but don't come
Mhm.
over here fool with us because
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
got we got something a little different for you. So no, that's an amazing question, Renee. But no, we didn't come up in that piece. And truth be told, when if you went to church, you went whatever, they gave you a little snippet of forgiveness. Not
Mhm.
not a whole lot. It wasn't a whole lot to model.
Mhm.
Um, to model in our community. It was
Mhm.
about revenge and retaliation.
Absolutely, and that's why I said I wanted to know because the key statement was you decided, you made a choice.
Yes.
So tell me
Yeah.
what made you decide.
Well, let me just say, and we're one decision away from changing our life for
Come
the
on,
rest of our life if
come
we
on,
choose forgiveness, right?
say that.
So I was one decision away in a sense of I was tired of being angry.
Mm,
I was tired of carrying this baggage,
mm.
right? Bag lady, you gonna miss
You
your
don't
bus.
hurt your back.
Come on. And so,
Carrying all them bags.
like
One
that.
day he
Yeah,
gonna say you
come on.
carried it.
And
Yeah, you what you
yeah,
yeah,
come on, Erica. Come on. Come on.
headlight.
Come on.
You
Come on. We want to see
crowded
that.
my space.
And so
Headlight.
you're one decision away, from changing life for the rest of your life. And so I asked God again to take the anger off of me and give me something else. And it
Mhm,
was a choice for me. And then after this young man served 25 years, y'all, um, I went to court along with my dad and testified. I testified
mhm,
because I told my father he was only my son. I mean, he was only my brother, but he was your son. And what would you have me say when I'm in court?
mhm,
And so, he said he wasn't going to come, but he showed up that morning. However, we told him after he said, we told him in court. The judge says, anybody have anything to say? We told him in court that we forgave him.
mhm.
Um, and
I'm sure that turned heads.
oh yeah, well, it's crazy because that morning, trying to paint a Picasso for you and the listening audience, that morning, Renee, it was my dad and I on one side of the courtroom, and it
Mhm.
was his entire family on the other side. And I
Ooh.
told my father, I said, I can't sit here, man. I can't do this. I can't do this. He said, fine. It'll be fine, Darryl. And I said, no, they all know who we are and no one has said anything to us.
Wow.
And so I got up and I went on the other side of the aisle and I shook every last one of their hands. And I told them that Ruben was my baby brother and that everything was going to be okay today. And it kind
Mhm,
of blew their mind, as you
mhm.
said, because they're like, what's this dude coming over here for? Why is he coming in our
We've
direction?
wronged him, but he's
Yeah.
coming over to us. That's love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And so, and not that they harmed us, but their loved one harmed us, right?
Right.
But then when they go to jail, we all go to jail. When they get convicted, we all get convicted.
Darryl,
So,
stop. Say that, women. That's to say that as well, because what happens is
yeah.
we're not really understanding that even when someone wrongs us, it's almost like we're then infected. And we get
Yeah.
the chance to or decide, do we continue to infect other people, or do
Hmm.
we take that and we allow that to have us to heal and heal other people? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a powerful statement.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, they felt ashamed, they felt guilty, they felt, and they
Mm.
didn't do anything.
And
But
I
we
gotta
were,
say that, Darryl, you're
yeah.
putting because you are putting characteristics that people need to hear go with
Hmm.
unforgiveness,
Yeah.
shame,
Yeah.
guilt.
Yes.
powerlessness. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
These are characteristics, and if we want to get deeper, spirits that come from unforgiveness that weigh us down. Those are the things that we hold in that bag.
Yeah. And Renee, again, powerful sister, because here's the deal. I ask folks all the time, are you dying inside of unforgiveness?
Mm.
Are you dying inside of unforgiveness? Because you're one,
That.
and the deal is that, hey, you wonder why you sick. You wonder why your hair falling out. You wonder
Come
why
on.
this. You wonder why that. Because you carrying that baggage year after year. I was working with someone in, I think Indiana, and the young
Mhm.
lady in the audience. She was, just bitter. And I said to her in a side conversation, I said, "Well, ma'am, How long's the marriage been over?" She said 11 years. I
Jesus.
said 11 years, and I said, and let me get, he's gone on, he's got married, he's got whatever, he's got all
Mhm.
of the other, he's gone.
Mhm.
Why are
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
still, why are you still holding on to that and trying to get revenge and that sort of stuff? I said, sister, you got to let that go. It
Mhm.
just didn't work. It just didn't work.
Now,
And
see,
so,
I like to provide strategies. That's a part of this platform.
mhm,
And so, what you said is powerful. Letting it go. People like, how do I let it go? Right.
yeah,
And I remember because I too, have divorced and,
mhm,
they've moved on and remarried. And I remember my cousin asking me, she said, "Did you have good times in that marriage?"
mhm,
I was like, "I did." She says, "Okay, then you accept those good times and then you let the bad ones go so that you can move forward. We have the opportunity to decide and choose what we remember, what we hold on to, and what we build on, right?
mhm,
And so when
mhm,
I did look at it from that way, because that's a solution, right? Somebody's like, how do I let go? How do I move on? Move
mhm,
on by saying that was okay.
mhm.
The moments that I had were some moments that I was able to learn from, some moments that, that were good, that everything in it wasn't bad. Because if the situation, the relationship, because we get hurt by people, we get hurt in relationships, we get hurt by circumstances. But when
Mm,
we look at it, there is a positive message in there somewhere. And if
mm.
we take the focus to the positive message, that is a strategy that gives you your power to let it go because you realize that whatever it was still didn't overtake you. It was
Yeah,
just your experience.
that's it. Hey, listen, you want to blow somebody's mind right now?
Yeah.
Text them or call them or send them an email and say, "Hey, girl, I was just thinking about you.
Yes.
I want to tell you I love you and I forgive you." Or, "I just want to tell you I love you." You don't
Yes.
even need a response back, right?
Yes.
You don't need a response
Mm.
back. You're not looking for a response back.
Mhm.
Now it's all for you. Please forgive me, or whatever that is, right?
Mhm.
And keep moving. Because again, when you get stuck, that's when sickness and dying and that sort of stuff come in. But going back to the court, um, we forgave him in court, and I asked the judge, and this is all part of my healing process. And I'm gonna park that piece that right there when we talk about forgiveness is a process, right?
Yes.
So we can come back to that. But for my healing process, the same judge who sentenced him life in prison came back and heard the case. And I asked the bailiffs in court, and they big guys, and I said, "You don't think I could shake his hand?" Because the judge suspended life in all but 35, all but 30 years.
Mhm.
And at the end, I asked the judge, the bailiffs, and can I shake his hand? They was like, "Oh no, that's not happening." And I said, "Well, I'm not going to ask you. I'll ask the judge." And the judge said, "Not a man opposes." And then in that court, those little swinging doors. I went
Mhm.
beyond those swinging doors, and of course, bailiffs on both sides of me, Renee. Um, and the kid had a three-piece suit on, not the garments, but he had shackles here, y'all,
Mm.
shackles around his waist and shackles around his ankles. And we were face to face, and I said to him, that you were known for taking life. And I said, "Now let's you and I go save some lives together."
Ooh,
And
ooh, say
and
that.
and when he went to shake my hand, y'all, he shook my hand like this because he had
Wow.
shackles on. But again, we're talking about my own healing. I shook his hand, and I knew I needed that for my own healing, but I knew the hand that he used to shake my hand was the one he used to take my brother's life.
Wow.
Right. But I needed that for me. And we're talking about the process. I was on my own journey of healing. Right. when we talk about families, not everybody in my family is on the same page that I am or
Mhm.
was on the same
Mhm.
page, right?
Mhm.
Because they have to deal with they have to grieve
Process.
in their own, in their own way, in their own process, right?
Mhm.
Some folks thought I've lost my mind. How you gonna work with a kid who took your brother's life? And I said, man, it
Mhm.
ain't me. It's my man upstairs. It's God,
Mhm.
right? And I will just say this: I'm thankful and grateful, Renee, that God gave me this assignment and that I was
Mm.
obedient, right?
I was
Right?
going to say that your
Yeah,
pain is your passion, and your
yeah.
passion is your purpose.
Come on, come on, come on. There it is. There it
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
That's what we do today. I work for my man upstairs. Um, you know, every single day. There's not a day to go by um, that we don't encounter some folks who are struggling and that are dying inside of unforgiveness.
Mhm.
And just by saying hello and we begin a conversation, it is so amazing on how, my man upstairs just works because he sends
Girl,
folks that are
sometimes we
hurting.
can just do that with a smile.
That's it.
That smile is such a universal language, and it speaks so many messages as well.
Yeah, that's it. So,
And and you
go ahead.
said something about the medical, about the healing medical. I want to say this, right? So when I look at different studies on unforgiveness and how it correlates with our bodies biologically, or medically, it was such a deep tide and connection to Alzheimer's
Mm,
and to dementia and cancer.
mm,
And because what happens is our bodies begin to produce what really
yes.
begins to break down our immune system and neurons in our brain. And
Hmm.
that's why most people with Alzheimer's or dementia had the highest statistical percentage to become aggressive
Mm,
and very combative, because they haven't forgiven. So that anger still lives within their whole membranes, right? And it causes their memory to only remember those things that were negative. You'll talk to the person with Alzheimer's or dementia, and they don't remember what happened yesterday, but 20 years ago they
mm,
can tell you who took that dollar out their
mm,
drawer, because
mm.
they didn't let that go, and it began to eat and weigh on them so much that it became a physical and a neurological change in their body.
And there's a direct correlation when we talk about the lack of forgiveness when it comes to anxiety, when it
Yes.
comes to depression, when it comes to stress, when it comes to, and that's pretty much what my dissertation is going to be on, which is
Mhm.
forgiveness, right?
Mhm.
When we talk about the mental health, when we talk about the physical health, all that, the lack of forgiveness all plays a role in that. And so
Mhm.
stress, anxiety, depression, all of that stuff. And it's if you look at, I mean, just something simple. You loaned your cousin some money, but the money
Mhm.
was your rent money or
Mhm.
your mortgage money, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
She's gonna pay you back on the first. By the 15th of the previous month, she stopped taking your calls. And the first, she really wasn't taking your calls.
We got the family
And then,
members. We know
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
and then you see her at Big Mama house at Thanksgiving, right?
Ooh, I was going to
What?
talk about that. These
Yeah,
holidays coming up with
or
forgiveness. Mhm.
yeah, or you see her on the gram. She's got a hair done, head. Let me
Mhm.
say, hair did,
And
nails
then sporting a
did,
new outfit, and she out at the club.
right? And I'm like, what happened? Where's my money, right? But then she comes back. She comes to Big Mama house on Thanksgiving. Now you mad? You telling your kids, come on, get your coach. We leaving. Well, why? We just got here, Mama, because she here. She still got power. Until you deal with that situation, it
Mhm.
has power over you, right? Listen,
Ooh,
my mama told me don't lend nothing I can't afford not to get back.
now
So
that's real stuff
it's,
right there.
hey,
Mhm.
but that's a teachable moment.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm saying to you,
But that's a
thank
part of
you.
the process of the
Yes.
healing for forgiveness, right? Because we were talking about how do you forgive, right? How do you do
Mm,
that? You have
mm,
to also own and take responsibility and accountability for what role you played in that too. You understand what I'm
mhm.
saying? Now, of
Without a
course,
doubt.
right now, there are some circumstances, let's keep it 100, right? There are some circumstances you could not avoid. It was what it
Mm,
was, right? And so
mm,
you don't want to go into, well, I shouldn't have been there, I couldn't have been there. But no, if it is a circumstance as such as this, you could,
mhm.
like you said, there is onus on, wait, I shouldn't lend out my rent money. You understand what I'm
Mm,
saying? So
mhm.
that's a part of, like you said, that healing. But I looked in your bio and I saw that you speak about forgiveness and reconciliation. And I want to ask you about that because I know sometimes that I remember having a situation with someone that I forgave. And I asked them, for the things that they perceived I had done to them that hurt them. And not if I did it. I'm always like, no, if you feel hurt or if you have gotten something from that person, it's not if I've done something to you. No,
Mm,
it's I've done something because you have
mm.
now carried this thing. And I apologize. I remember that person initially saying, I forgive you, but that doesn't mean I need to be with you. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I
yeah,
get it. So
yeah.
talk to forgiveness and reconciliation.
Well, listen, let me be real clear. If we can reconcile, we can reconcile, right? Let me just, we may not, that's if both parties, if
Hmm.
folks buy into that piece, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me be real clear with you. Some of us may never get to forgiveness.
Listen, say that. Say that.
Some of us may never ever get to forgiveness.
And we've got
But
to learn to live without the apology.
right. Listen, because you may never get an apology. That person already gone home to glory. You still
Hmm.
waiting. You still
Hmm.
mad. He died without telling me. Look, she died.
Hmm.
Look,
Hmm.
gone. And forgiveness. Some of us may never get there. But my piece to you is, as long as you continue to move towards healing yourself, right?
Yes.
Healing yourself. Now
Hmm.
we're moving closer to that because some folks is like utopia. It's like the land of happiness, pure pleasure. We want no more. Whereas, that's forgiveness. You may never reach that plateau.
Hmm.
And there's going to be ebbs and flows along the way. I mean,
Yes.
I look at it, Renee, as like a 12 in a NAAA 12-step program, right?
Hmm.
You might get to step 6 or step 7, everything's good. Something happens, it triggers you. And now
Hmm.
you back down to step 3, but you still on the steps.
Hmm.
You didn't
Hmm.
jump off the steps. And so, if you can reconcile, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's not for you. He never said he's sorry. She never said you don't need
And
that.
then Darryl, in that forgiveness, because we've already said it that it's for you, it's not for the other person anyway.
Yes.
That forgiveness, and we talked about this, it gives you power. It also
Yes.
then begins to give you power to have boundaries, to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
power to make wise decisions. I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, people are like, oh, I was trying to be nice to them. I was trying, and I said, listen, the Bible and nobody ever asked you to be nice, asked you to be kind.
Hmm.
Kind is being able to use wisdom when you interact with other people. So when
Hmm.
you forgive somebody, like you said, you get to use wisdom to decide, do I reconcile with this person who I see still have the same characteristics and the tendency to trigger or do the same thing to me? Then that's not a person that I want to reconcile with. But
Yeah.
because this forgiveness wasn't for them anyway, it was for me, I can
Yeah.
use wisdom as if I want to then begin to interact with this person or not.
Yeah. And the deal is, listen, everybody can't sit on the front row of your life.
Come on, come on. Mm,
Everybody can't sit
absolutely.
on the front row of your life. Listen, if you go to church tomorrow, go to wherever, there is only a certain amount of seats on the front row of your
I
life.
like that. Hmm.
They can sit, they can be in the church. They
Yeah,
just can't sit up here, right?
absolutely.
I forgive you. I ain't gonna never forget.
Mm.
I forgive you,
Now
right?
you know what?
I'm never gonna forget. You never gonna forget, right?
You
It's
don't forget
there.
you don't forget what happened, but
Yeah,
what
but
you
it
do is
doesn't.
you take away from the power of how
Yeah,
it
it does.
affects
Yeah,
you.
it doesn't control you anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I listen, folks. I kill it with kind. Hey, how you doing? You doing all right? Good.
Hmm.
Hey, good.
Hmm.
Love, right? All I
Love is
have
a
for you today
multitude.
is love and light. But I just know that not everybody can sit on the front row of my life.
And you said this, Darryl, you talked about, because I want to talk about this a little bit too, forgiving yourself. So, because let me just give you a little background, because I had like a lot of sexual abuse
Mm-hmm.
in my
Mm-hmm.
formative years,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was so hard on myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was like, I could forgive everybody, their mama and a monkey
Not you.
on a ship, but I
Yeah.
would not forgive myself. I was
Yeah.
so hard because, see, when things happen to us that causes trauma, right? It puts us in a mental state that there has to be flaws in us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stop or if you don't start a healing process or a healing journey, you stick to those flaws and you make yourself the component to everything that happens to you, or the reason why everything happens to you. And that's just in relation with the trauma. So I was just like, I can't forgive myself. But through my healing process and journey, I started looking at the things that happen, and using CBT, cognitive based therapy, I would
Mhm.
break that thing down to, wait, how much power did it have over me?
Mhm.
Did it take me out and let me look at it in a different way?
Mhm.
What did
Mhm.
I learn from it? What did it build in me? And it helped me to stop blaming myself, and then stop being so hard on myself, and not being like a magnet or a fly trap to start
Mhm.
taking everything that people were telling me that was,
Mhm.
like you said, adding on to that baggage for me not to forgive myself. But
Mhm.
like you said, it was so easy
Mhm.
to forgive other people because they was external,
Mhm.
but it was a challenge forgiving myself for years internally. Talk to me
Yeah.
about
Well, that's one of the hardest things to do.
it.
Let's make no bones about it.
Hmm.
Self forgiveness is one of the hardest things to do.
And wait a minute,
Listen,
girl. Wait a minute. I'm sorry to cut you off. Check this out. Me being a woman of faith and in the church, do you know the church had told us, well, told me, because I was like, I'm working on forgiving myself. You know what they told me? Well, if you could forgive yourself, then you would have died on the cross. That ain't your job to forgive yourself. And I was like,
yeah,
ooh, this might not be
yeah,
the church for me. Because I'm
yeah,
like,
I,
wait.
yeah, yeah,
Even the
yeah, yeah.
scripture says greater things than this shall you do in my name. So if he forgave me, then
Come
I
on.
got the power to forgive myself. Okay, go ahead on with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, period. And so for us, you know, you know, I lost the train.
That's
But
all right. We're talking about forgiving ourselves, that hard
yeah,
part.
self
Make it
forgiveness,
easy.
right? Is that um, I haven't. That was one of the hardest things for me. I can't go back and change what I did 40 years
Absolutely.
ago.
That's
I
a word.
can't go back and change what I did 50 years ago
Absolutely.
or 30 years. I can't go back and do what I did, what I changed, what I didn't get right yesterday or last week, right?
Hmm.
Um, and God has already forgiven us. So,
Hmm.
why don't we forgive ourselves? He's
Hmm.
already forgiven us. And I always often tell folks, why don't you take your foot off your own neck?
Come on. Come on.
Because that's what we're doing.
Hmm.
Folks are, and folks have already forgiven us for
Yes.
our transgressions and things that we've done, but we can't forgive ourselves, right? We hold on to that piece,
I'm
right?
gonna tell you what that
Um,
I'm gonna tell you what that adds to, Darryl. When we can't forgive ourselves, here it is right here. Let me drop this. I'm gonna drop this little nugget. It's because we really don't feel that we're worthy.
yes, yes. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the
Hmm.
whole thing. God, I did that. Oh my God! But He's already forgiven you.
Hmm. Hmm.
He's already
Hmm.
forgiven you. And truth be told, the young man who took my brother's life, that's one of the things. Kim Young Marshall, it's one of the things that he struggles with right now.
Hmm.
Is self forgiveness, where we've forgiven him,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
He's still beating himself up, right?
Hmm.
He's still got his foot on his own neck. But again, forgiveness is a process, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so we're the hardest on ourselves, man.
And I tell people, because this is the thing. We are not what happened to us, and we are not what we've done, right? A lot of times we put those characteristics on our behavior patterns. So when I was an educator, right, they would always give me the most challenging to children, right? Because they were like, they got these all behaviors, this, that, and other, they bad, this, that, and other. And one thing I would not do is I would not read the notes on
Hmm.
the children's, I would look at the academics, but I wouldn't read the notes, because I don't want somebody else's perspective on this child. I
Hmm.
need to interact with them myself and
Yeah,
get my own, my own understanding of who this child is.
yeah,
And 9 times out of 10, the most challenging children that they gave me, the behavior children, had, of course, a deeper layer of challenges that was going on. And when you start meeting the core of those challenges, when you start speaking to those children begin to shine and
yep.
be productive and things of that
Without a
nature.
doubt.
So I
Without a doubt.
see that in transferring it to when we forgive ourselves, when we stop
Hmm.
looking at characteristics, labels, or behavior patterns, and first and foremost, seeing us how God seen us. He said He didn't make anything. He did
No
everything
perfection.
He made was good.
Mhm. Yeah.
So one of the things that I do when we talk about in my impartation strategy sessions, and my clients will tell you, they that this woman always do this. We got to spend a good amount of time on affirmations. right? We don't realize how hard it is to really just look in the mirror and
Mm-hmm.
say positive things about ourselves. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? We are fearfully and wonderfully made. There is
Yes.
no, listen, even if we do something most horrific, it still doesn't mean that is the character of the person. And so when
Yeah.
we start looking at that, we can start loving, forgiving ourselves and seeing us different.
You know what? Again, I often tell my folks we gotta let's look through a different set of lenses, right?
Yes.
Lenses of healing, reconciliation, forgiveness. I often tell folks is that and it's real simple, y'all. We're better. We're
Yes.
better than the worst thing we've ever done.
Ooh, say that.
We're,
Mhm,
we're better than the worst thing we've ever done. I work with a whole lot of different types of clients, a whole lot of different folks who have done some horrendous things. And I say to them, you want to know why you still, folks are getting hot and doing all kinds of stuff.
mhm,
That's
mhm,
that they trying to mask that pain, right? And
mhm.
then, somebody says to them, look, brother, look, sister, you are better than the worst thing you ever done. And they like, oh my God, the ones ever said that. Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
yes, yes,
Now, with
yes.
you working in the criminal justice system, tell me how you believe or what impact can be made in that system with regards to forgiveness.
Listen, I think that we could change the world with
I
forgiveness,
believe so
right?
too.
Even going behind the walls, we do a lot of work now, campaign for the fair sentences of youth. All the young folks that were sentenced who got juvenile life without parole,
Mm,
we're now in the process of helping to bring all of them back home. They had to be resentenced and that sort of stuff. And a lot of these folks are doing, have done some stuff, man. But
mhm,
um, if we began like this whole restorative justice piece, right? Like
mhm,
repairing harm, trying to get them, the perpetrators, like the criminal justice system is really fickle, right?
mhm, mhm.
Because um, the criminal justice system never wants the victim and the perpetrator's paths to ever cross again,
Mhm, mhm.
right? They never want. I didn't. They never asked us what we wanted for the young man who took my brother's life. We
Mhm.
we didn't say we want you to sentence to death. We not left, bro.
Right, right.
But probably when that initially happened, we would have probably said he needs to this,
Mhm,
he needs to
mhm,
die, he
mhm.
needs all these other things, but not now. But yeah, it's crucial that we learn that before they come back out here.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, that they understand the power of forgiveness, right?
mhm, mhm.
Um, Now, not every victim and perpetrator is ever going to even going to be able to come together or want to, right?
Absolutely.
Because safety reasons, but all of these other stuff may never happen. But for the ones who do want to reconcile, who do want to meet, because I just met with a young lady 2 weeks ago, um, was talking about her journey and how she went. Her brother was killed and how she went to meet the guy, and she
Mhm,
wanted to know the details. And she told him that she forgave him, right? Um, but I think if we began to talk about forgiveness of self behind the walls before they even come home,
mhm.
even to prepare them if they want to meet their victim or to meet the perpetrator who did it, I just think that's a powerful, powerful tool. And I
So I
just think,
think that we should advocate more to be able to bring programs into that because um, that is so necessary in
yeah,
this entire United States. And I
yeah,
think that that would also be a piece that would show us a decrease in criminal behavior
yeah,
because we then see these individuals understanding, right,
yeah,
the
yeah,
impact of self, forgiveness, and understanding, which would not put a person primarily in a mindset of wanting to become sort of a perpetrator in criminal behavior.
If you were taught revenge and retaliation, that's what you know.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
if we give you this beautiful gift of forgiveness, begin to start talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
the value of it,
Mm-hmm.
um, how listen, I'm free.
I
The
know that.
day I decided
Did
to
not.
forgive the kid who took my brother's life, my whole
You
life
could
changed.
breathe. It was like the elephant was off your chest. Let me
It was
let
like,
me
come
tell you
on.
something. Let me tell you something funny I did, Darryl, because something about your little sister. I'm always doing
Mm,
something. So
mm, mm,
uh back in let me see, about 97, 98, I was held at gunpoint at my house,
mm,
right? And the person actually tried to kill me. I didn't even realize that till the police came and
mm,
searched all the bullet casings. And, so I'm like, I'm so glad to be here. But I had went on this quest because I just knew, I thought that I knew who it was
mm,
that did it. So for years, I was trying to find this person. I finally found them on Facebook. And
mm,
I hit him in the inbox and was like, hey, here come a number, call me. I got a question to ask you. It was just like,
mm. Oh
hey,
wow.
how you doing? And I'm like, so you remember when we had kind of ran back into each other, around, and they were like, yeah. I said, and girl, I'm just as crazy as all outdoors. I said, did you try to shoot me? And he was like, no. He was like, but I'm saying that, it was funny, those crazy things I do, but it was because I wanted to let this person know if it was that person, and I wanted them to know that I forgave them and
Yeah.
that I would be
Yeah.
understanding of whatever that time, because that person that at that time, the person I thought it was also struggling with addiction. And I
Hmm.
knew that they were kind of out there, that them stick 'em up kid, and I
Hmm.
was like, so I would have understood, but it was like my quest to find this person really was
Hmm.
because I just wanted to tell them that I forgave them.
Hmm. Hmm. And again, once you do it, man, your life will change. Your life will change. Your life will change. I'm not bitter. I don't listen. I'm just love and light. That's all I have for you. It will. Again, you're one decision away from changing your life for the rest of your life, or you can stay stuck on the other side.
Come on now. I say stay stuck
You know,
on sleep, but don't
you
do it.
yeah,
Listen,
you have a
power
choice.
of choice. Yes.
You have a choice, man. You have a choice. You can forgive just because you can.
Just because you can. I love it. And
Just
look, listen, so Darryl, both of us know, like the listening audience doesn't know. They don't know about Park Heights. They don't know
can.
about West Baltimore. They don't know. But you always tell me this, right? You always encourage me and tell me how proud you are of me. But
Yes.
I don't know if I'm able to tell you enough how proud I am for you, right?
Well,
And the fact that my brother from the 21215 landed in People magazine to talk about deep forgiveness, right? You know,
Where is it?
People, yeah, just put that up for him. Just for the people who can see it, put
Let's
that up
see.
so they can see that my brother was People magazine, Latina
Is
on
this
the
good?
cover, and
With
right there,
Tina Turner.
deep
With Tina
forgiveness.
Turner. Look, Celine Dion in that corner. And then
Uh-huh.
my stories right here.
Yeah.
Um,
So
a brutal murder, shocking decision. Why I forgave my brother's killer.
come on, right?
But that's not but my man upstairs.
Whew.
He
And
gets
that's
the
and that's
glory.
that's because what's needed is now People magazine is read by many, read by all. That's where
Mhm.
those stories go out there. That's just to tell you how big, how grand, and how necessary forgiveness is.
Yes.
That People magazine thought it was a big enough story to put out there.
Yeah, and I thank you. I thank you for that, Renee. And we last year we were selected to come and speak in Tel Aviv, Israel,
Woo!
Jerusalem.
Wow.
And so we last year we spoke in at Bar Ilan University, at the illustrious national treasure Morgan State University. What I've been doing forgiveness for a long time, but I went as under the auspices of Professor Green, Darryl Green from the School of Social Work, Morgan State University, and we were the only HBC selected to speak at the
Come on,
first
Daryl.
World Conference on
Mm,
Forgiveness. We speak all over the God has allowed us to speak all over the country, internationally and globally. 2 weeks up in the mountains with in Ghana, West Africa, Accra. We speak all over the country, y'all. We'll come to your church, synagogue, dining room table, your
absolutely. I'm going to
backyard.
tell them where to find you to get you, because
Yeah. So
listen to this. Listen to this. So the fact that I don't know your political stance, I don't get into it, but I want to see you holding a cabinet or holding a space where that forgiveness message is a
Yeah.
part of something, like you said, you're in Israel, but that it is something that is almost a mandate because it
Yes.
is needed. So I want
Yes.
to see you up there on
Oh,
the podium. I see it. I want to call it out. I know
I
you ain't
want to
gonna
say
push away
thank you
from
because
it.
this world needs to heal, y'all.
The
We are
world needs
Yeah,
love.
yeah, that's it. We are struggling right now. And if
Yes.
we can, as you started saying, the world needs love. If we could love more, imagine what it could be.
Mhm.
If we could just love more. Sometimes our bus goes so fast, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Renee, for slowing the bus down tonight for everybody under the sound of our voice tonight. Thank you for slowing the bus down enough for them to be able to get on our bus, right?
Yes.
To be able to talk about forgiveness, to be able to talk about healing, be able to talk about reconciliation. Listen, you you may maybe the person was doing the best they knew how,
Yes.
right? If you talk about my father wasn't a part of my life, he wasn't this, he wasn't that, and I'm saying, well, you never sometimes you never know the relationship between your father and your grandfather and your great grandfather. This is how our
Mhm.
fathers thing go back, right?
Mhm.
And maybe he was doing the best he knew how. Maybe he stayed away because he didn't want to bring that nonsense he was doing around you, right?
Mhm.
Um, but here's the deal. Um, you know, Sometimes we got to have those difficult but courageous conversations,
Yeah.
right? To say,
Mhm.
hey, dad, help me understand this, or hey, dad, whatever, and then keep moving, um, moving towards the light. And I will say to you, not everybody on this call will have the same light at the end of the tunnel that I had,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But I want the listening audience to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Because the
And
light comes in the freedom of self when you let it go.
And so folks like, I don't know if I can do that. I was like, well, I ain't know I could do it either.
Wow.
but
Yeah.
but I always knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel.
Mhm.
And sometimes we get in these dark spaces and we stay there. And I'm saying don't stay there, y'all.
Mhm.
If somebody's struggling, you can reach out to us. If somebody's struggling, reach out to a professional that can help you in your area. But don't stay stuck, right?
Mhm.
Forgiveness is for you and not the other person. Um, and
Absolutely.
not every, and not everybody can sit on the front row of your life.
Yeah. Though I really do love those statements because I think that, or truly believe that once you forgive someone anyway, you realize that those chairs in the front seat are very special. And
Hmm.
those seats should only be sat in or taken up by those who encourage you,
Hmm.
uplift you, right? Hold you accountable, inspire you,
Hmm.
walk alongside you. Those are who those seats are for. But
Yeah.
when you're in unforgiveness, though, you're not able to really make rash decisions or
Yeah.
make those intelligent decisions because the one thing that holds us to holding on to unforgiveness are those emotions. So
Hmm.
when we start healing those emotions and understand that uh, that we have the power over them, right?
Oh
Then we
yeah.
don't allow them to turn into resentment,
Because
bitterness,
it will.
forgiveness. It
It
will.
will. Yeah, it
Because
will.
we'll start festering and marinating on
Yeah.
those feelings. Like,
Yeah.
and I know for myself, I'm getting ready to go off the beaten path for a second. I know that, when I was going through or when I would go through I would throw me, and I love her. So y'all don't come for me when I say this because she's one of my favorite all-time artists. But I would throw some Phyllis on when I was going through my
Hmm.
relationship issues. And I'm like,
Hmm.
leave me on the moon. And I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
when I get my love this time, I'm like, yeah, Phyllis had me. Listen, y'all.
So Simon,
Phyllis
yeah.
had me in a corner with a glass of Bacardi singing. No, it wasn't even Bacardi. It was E&J. I was like, I never drink no more
Look, they
E&J
don't
in
know
my
about
life.
EJ. They too young. They don't know about EJ
Okay, I don't know about E&J.
yeah.
Okay,
Night
I'm
Watch. They
like,
don't know about that.
yeah, I was like Phyllis, and so I'm saying that because when we hold on to that feeling that we had when that circumstance and situation comes. It's like reliving it over and over. So what we have to do is we have to allow ourselves new experiences for new feelings. So we no longer stay stuck in that. I tell people all the time, our feelings are valued. I said, have feelings, just don't pitch a tent and stay in.
And stay there, yeah. And I tell folks, stop drinking the poison and expect somebody else to die.
Listen, Darryl, I got to get final thoughts. These are all my final thoughts, Darryl. You already been off my final thoughts and everything.
Listen, thank you. If I'm able to, give the contact information.
No, listen, please, please. I want the opportunity not only for you to be able to give your contact information, because I want people to be able to reach you.
Yes.
But I'm actually putting a plea out for every listener, right? Darryl is willing to travel. So if it's your college, if it's your school, if it's your church, if it's your organization, whatever it is, I want you to reach out to him. I want you to be able to get in touch with him, because this mantle that he's carrying, right? First and foremost, we have to lift up your arms and help you carry this mantle as well. So I'm sending out a decree for everyone to take a minute to honestly think about who it is that you need to forgive. And even if it's nobody outside of you, if it's just yourself, and sit down there for a minute and go, listen, hold up. Darryl, I like that statement, what you said. You're not the one about you're greater than.
Yeah, you're better than the worst thing you've ever done.
You're better. I need you to sit down with that for a minute. I need you to really take a minute and sit down with that one. So, please, Darryl, please let them know how they can get to you and get deep forgiveness out there. So talk to them. Like you said, it's the holidays coming up. People go to Big Mama house and they don't like the uncle and the cousin and this, that, and other. So how are we going to sit down there and have these meals and really be able to celebrate in peace and be present?
Listen, because when you don't, you rob everybody.
Absolutely.
Right? When you don't forgive, you hold on to that stuff, man. You're robbing. Now because you mad at your brother. Now your children, they don't speak to each other.
Oh, come on, right? You said that we started off with that about it being generational.
Yeah, it's generational,
man. Transferring that unforgiveness. And let me tell you something. That's women. I want to say this. If you love your children, don't pass down unforgiveness.
Come on, man. Don't do that.
Don't do it. Put it out the generation.
You're destroying the next. You're destroying your children's children's children if you do that.
Absolutely. Yes, third and fourth generation down. They'll tell them where they can find you.
So listen, I'm a professor at the illustrious National Treasure Morgan State University. I'm the loud one in the department. If you come to Morgan, you're like, who's the loud one in social? You're like, oh, that's Professor Green. But my company, y'all, is called Deep Forgiveness. There it is right there. Right here. Deep Forgiveness. So we speak all over the country, internationally and globally. Our website is www.deepforgiveness.com. Our email is info @deepforgiveness.com. You can reach us directly in our office at area code 443-739-3260 to schedule appointments and those sort of things. But we'll come to your church, your synagogue, your dining room table, your corporate Fortune 500 companies. We've done work again. A Blue Cross and Blue Shield, NE Casey Foundation, Catholic Charities. We do large staff trainings and things like that because, as we said earlier, Renee, hurt people, man. Yes. We got a lot of folks that's hurting. So listen, if you want individual coaching, we can do that as well. I don't know if I told your listening audience, Renee, that the young man who took my brother's life is now my partner. We now work together. We now work together. But sometimes I get wild thoughts. He's sitting in my passenger seat, and I look over at him like, I could do something to you, but and I'll bring him to your organization as well. We'll come together to be a blessing. A lot of times we're places and I'm telling the story, and folks, I would have did this, I would have did that, and they have no idea he's sitting right beside him in the audience, right? Then I'll say that the next voice you hear is the young man who actually took my brother's life.
I know
the place goes crazy. So that's what we're doing. Again,
Darryl, I
we'll
also
probably.
just want to say this too, though, because
Mhm.
it takes a lot to run this from a business standpoint too. So, are these also ways that people can pour into financially to you when they get
They,
in touch
sh-
with you from this?
they they sure can. They sure can. We are 501c3. We're nonprofit. Matter
Okay.
of fact, I'm gonna be trying. We've never gotten a grant from anybody,
Well,
right?
listen, I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
every listener right now, if you're a grant writer, you know somebody who write grants, you do some grants. I'm telling you right now, I want to hear Darryl
Yeah.
hit me back up and say, Renee, listen,
Yeah.
the grant money start coming in, people start
Yeah.
giving. I want to hear it. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
because even in the midst of this, you are helping somebody else to
Oh,
get
without a
prepared
doubt.
to
Without a
receive
doubt.
forgiveness.
Without a doubt. So you can go to the website. You can donate there. You can also email me as well. We have books. We have T-shirts. There's our book, Deep Forgiveness, as well. You can get them
Yes.
off the website. We have shirts. We've got some merch there. Again, we're just trying to change the world. I told my parents that before I closed my eyes,
Mm,
um, that folks all over the world would know your son's name.
my God.
And I'm not talking about my name.
Mhm, mhm.
My younger brother named Reuben Cotton. I said to him, and then when, um, yeah. So our mission is just trying to change the world with reconciliation, healing, and forgiveness. And I promise you, if you invite us into your company, I promise you, some lives will be changed that day. Your company will be changed that day. You will be changed that day. Because here's the deal: you can't walk in the same. You can't leave out of those sessions. I need you to hear this. You cannot leave out of that session, those sessions, the same way you came in. It's impossible. It's impossible. And so, listen, you're one decision away. One decision away for changing your life for the rest of your life. Um,
Darryl,
call us. Call
yes.
us. I gave you the number. I gave you the website. If you're ready, come on. We'll do individual coaching. We'll set a plan up for you as well, and we'll make it happen. Renee.
I cannot thank you enough for being you and for
Thank
allowing
you.
your pain to become your purpose.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I love you. I know many others love you. And now, when they hear this, even more people are going to love you. And I speak encouragement, I speak strength, I speak mass, mass, mass territory for you to
Amen.
be able to take your message.
Amen.
All right.
Yeah. Again, listen, Renee, thank you. Because I'm excited to be on your show tonight because I know that we're one person away.
Yeah.
We're one person away from hearing the story. And hopefully next time when I come on the show, I'll bring him with me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, next time we come on the show, we'll yeah, they not listen,
Please do.
they don't know, they have no idea. And so hopefully next time we're on the show, I'll bring him Kim Yon to come with us, and we'll we'll change some lives, man. So thank you for
Yes, you
allowing me
will.
to
I'm working
hopefully
with you.
change some lives tonight.
Yes, yes. So my final thoughts for this night, right? So as we talked about it, and Darryl was all of my final thoughts, but forgiveness is a power, right? And you
Mhm.
don't want to be in a position where you give your power away.
That's right.
If you're tired of seeing and hearing other people that offended or hurt you live their lives, then it's time to forgive.
Hmm.
When you let them go, when you let the offense go or you let the hurt go, you actually are able to then live. You can't stay stuck because if you're stuck, you're not growing. And
That's right.
anything that's not growing is dead. So if you're breathing, you do not want to be out here walking zombies, breathing but dead. And as Darryl said earlier, he said, listen, because this was my final thoughts. It's like unforgiveness is like uh drinking poison, but looking for the other person to be harmed or die. right? You
Mhm.
don't want to drink your own poison. You
Yeah.
don't want to put yourself in a physical position, either medically, to then have to have medical challenges because you won't let it go.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know, as we are one choice away, I
One
want
choice.
you to remember that forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person that hurt you.
Nope.
And it
Nope.
has everything to do with your healing, your wholeness, and your well being.
Amen.
Say that
Say that.
right now. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I should hope that someone in your listening audience tonight was healed or began to move or began to get unstuck.
Amen.
Because it's your life. You only,
That's
come
all.
on. It's
All
one
right.
decision away. Thank you, love.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, all right. Root to the cube.